Alrighty, welcome back to KC Grid Talk, episode number 36. As always, my name is Caleb Vieska. Last episode, we had a couple of good guests on. Xander Clements and Billy Musgrave were on, and those are two of the guys that have a lot of experience when you talk about motorsports and when you talk about our sport of karting as a whole. And this week, I think we have a much younger average age than usual. This is a special show that we've been working for, or we've been working, I guess, to get for quite some time. An episode dedicated to our KC kids and that platform that we have. But as always, let's bring on two of my wonderful co-hosts, Emery Lida and Alexander Searle. First of all, fellas, it's been a rough week. It's been a rough, I guess you could say, 2 weeks. Finals have been kicking our butts, I think, for the past 2 weeks. Firstly, how are we doing? Did we survive? Or I think Emery has like two more left, but how, Alex, how'd you do, man?
I'm good. I'm good. Grades are good. I just finished my last final today, so I'm happy. I don't have to look at a school assignment for 3 weeks, so I'm
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. And listen, Emory may have a couple more finals to go, but Chapel Hill's in a good spot right now. That's all I
Yes.
gotta say.
Yes, indeed. Would you call it Chapel Bill?
Chapel Bill.
Chapel Bill,
Chapel
man.
Bill. Well, Emery, how's it going, man?
Up until that announcement, it's been a rough week. Between econ finals, presentations, a lot of schoolwork to get done, a lot of law school stuff to finish up. I mean, look, it's I'm thankful to be going back to a go-kart track here in the next week because it's been stuff that I would not want to do again. But yeah, we're down to one more semester plus one more exam, and I don't know if I've survived it yet, but I'm still here. So up until this point, it's been good. And I mean, Bill Belichick coming to UNC. I won't get to see the on-field product, but I mean,
Yep.
we'll see. Should be hopefully a revived football program because good lord, we need something after our
You're
basketball team
you're
so
still
far
gonna
this
go to the
year.
games though, aren't you? Like,
I'll find a way.
yeah,
I'll find
no
a way.
way.
But
Yeah.
yeah, no, we need something on the football field.
Yeah, I mean we do too. We finished 8-4 for like the third year in a row. So that was that. And then my GPA this semester was a 4.0 up until today.
Oh,
It went down to a 3.5. Got
wow.
a B in one of my classes. So
That's a big drop.
yeah, so I mean a B is a 3.0, of 4.0 is obviously a I mean an A is a 4.0. So well, I think it went down to like a 3.75. It could have
Do
been
they
lower.
not? Yeah. Do they not have like the A minus B plus system for you guys, or just straight
I don't
A
think so.
B
I think
C
it's just
D?
straight A B
That's
C D.
crazy.
Yeah,
That's
just
wild.
straight A B C D. Welcome to Texas,
Hey,
baby.
round of applause though, Caleb.
Hey,
3.7.
hey, while doing Kart Chaser at the same time, many people said it couldn't be done, but we did it. So that's great. For
Caleb
those of you,
deserves the academic lifetime achievement of this show.
hey, hey, we'll see. But two kids that probably aren't as busy in school, and who knows, may make it big time before they get into a college career. Firstly, let's bring on, I think, the best Canadian since Justin Bieber and Drake. I'd say Ty Fisher. Welcome on to the show. Firstly, how have you been? I see you're quite busy, and you've been quite busy in the past couple of weeks. What are you up to, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Signing with Zanella, driving a lot of cars. Still traveling. Season's still not over for me, so that's been fun. Been going to NOLA, Sebring, Homestead this week, so yeah, should be pretty fun.
Mr. Worldwide, eh?
It's been a
Kind of
crazy
getting
week
out there,
for
yeah.
all those Road to Indy guys. I mean, I keep seeing it on my feed. They're at different tracks every single day. I mean, do you have an idea how many
Yeah.
laps you put together in this last week?
In the past week, I've probably put together probably around like 300 almost.
There you go.
Goodness
That's good testing.
gracious.
That's good testing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You feel good in the car?
Yeah, yeah, definitely starting to get the hang of it, learning the car, learning how it drives compared to a kart, and just like how the tracks, how much different they are to karting. But I'm starting to get the hang of it, getting a bit faster every test, which is good.
Hell yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
good, man. Well, next here, joining Ty, again, another one of the kiddos that was pretty good this year. Chase Gassiot-Lee got a win to his name at the King of the Castle, if I'm not mistaken. Chase Gassiot-Lee, welcome on to the show. How are you doing? You look a lot calmer than what you were in the green room, dude. How are you? How are you feeling? I guess.
I've been good. Just school, school, school. It's all I've been thinking about for the past week. and then it's been
Such a
karting.
lie.
I was gonna say.
Such a lie.
I was gonna
What?
say.
I
That is-
swear, I swear.
that is a
I've
lie
been
and a half.
grounded. I've been grounded for the last week because I got
Oh,
a bad
man.
grade. But besides that,
Yeah,
I
because he's
keep
busy
going.
playing F124, bro. That's
What are
why.
you talking about, man? Like honestly, I don't know. And yeah, I've been doing some local race stuff. Did some car testing recently, and like it's been pretty good.
So how's it going with you? How many laps have you actually put together in a car since you've been in it?
I don't know. It's been a lot, but I'm mostly around Homestead. I did one race at Sebring in an F4 car, and then I did a USF test in Homestead twice. So it's been, we
Okay.
put a lot of laps together.
That's good. That's good. And obviously, you being from Florida, Miami, like our very own Luis Diaz, Miami kid, Miami
Hey,
local.
round of applause for Chase, by the way. 206 senior champ, AMR club race.
Hey,
You won the championship, right, Chase?
Yes,
All right,
not in
round of
K,
applause.
sadly. Kind
nice.
of blew my engine, but not bad.
Skill
It's all
issue.
good. Well, you guys have been in karting for, I would say, I don't know, 10 years, maybe a little more than that, maybe a little less than that.
They were not 3 when they started.
I know what I'm saying.
That's
That's
crazy.
Yeah, I
exactly.
said.
That's exactly.
Uh,
Okay, so you guys are obviously young. Ty, you said you were 13 earlier.
Yeah, I'm
And
13.
Chase, how old are you?
I'm
14?
15 going on
15.
16 in February.
Oh, nice. You're moving up to senior next year?
Yep. I'll be
Dude,
racing X30 Pro in Scooter Winter Series.
nice. So that's just breaking news right there from Chase.
Yep.
But let's get into how you guys kind of got started. Ty, we'll start with you. What kind of got you into karting? What got your family into karting? And just how? Tell me about the Ty Fisher story here.
Yeah, so I started up in Canada at a local track at Area 27. My dad and a few of his friends, like they all were always into like motorsports and stuff, like snowmobiling, and they built a racetrack. And his friends went there and they loved it, so they told my dad they gotta come, and they loved it. So I just kept going there with them, and my dad finally got a membership there. And then around a year later, they built a go-kart track, and I started doing the rentals almost every day until one day my dad got me a 206 Cadet, and I drove that like as much as I could. I love that. And then Supernats was coming up, and the team there wanted me to race with them at Supernats, and it was my first like national race ever. In I think it was
Wow.
2020 was my first ever national race, and I loved it. So we just kind of did every race that we could since then on a TB cart. So we stayed on their chassis, and it's been amazing for us. We've gotten lots of podiums and wins since then, so it's just grown from there.
So how was it doing your first national at a Supernats?
I mean, it was definitely different. Learning the parking lot track, honestly, I probably learned that like pretty fast. I don't know what it was, but just the flow of it, I learned it fast. And in the practices, I had like pace, not like top 5 pace or top 10, but if I put a good lap together, I would probably be top 20, which I thought was pretty good for my first ever national race. But I mean, I didn't make the final. I was like sixth in the LCQ, so I didn't quite make it, but I was close, and I was proud of myself for my first race. And yeah,
The
So
difference
now,
4 years
yeah,
makes, huh?
yeah, that's exactly what I
yeah,
was going to say. 4 years later, you fought
The win.
for 2 race wins for the win in both of the classes. So I
yeah.
guess how is it? How is it? I guess kind of been now looking back to that to where you were this past year.
Yeah, I mean, last year was my first year in junior. We were definitely struggling a lot last year. We were trying to find engines. That was probably a big struggle. Once we found a good package, I think we went over to Europe for like 6 weeks. I did a few races there. When I came back, it was my first race back. It was USPKS at GoPro, and that race was probably like my best race weekend ever. I was running in the top 5, and I finished 11th on track in the final, but on the last lap, I went from 4th to 11th just in 2 corners. So if I didn't make a mistake, I probably might have been able to get a podium.
All right, Ty. Well, we appreciate you for sharing. Next, Ty. Sorry, not Ty. Chase. How did you get into karting? What kind of, I guess, got you to the point where you are today?
I started in karting with rental go karts at like K1 speed and like Fort Lauderdale, Fort Lauderdale and stuff. And then I was going to school, and my friend was telling me there's a place called AMR Motorplex, and saying we should do the rental carts. And when I went to do the rental carts was my birthday, which I was turning 13 at the time. And at the time, Scooter Winter Series was there, but I didn't know. So then I was getting more and more into it. It's like, Dad, I want to go over there. And so my dad talked to his friends and stuff, and like he knew somebody that did it, and then he got me a go kart, which was like summertime, 2022, yeah. And then from there, I did my first race was August. I did some races in 206 until December, and in December I did KA. I did 1 weekend of testing, and then did local, and then SKC, and then did SCUSA, and then from there just doing nationals, and in 2023 I did like an off and off season with KA with Speed Concepts, and 2024 I was with my local team at the time, DDR, and then we went to Nash, and then from there we just did the whole season. And it's pretty good. We got some podiums, some victories, but I was looking for more, but it happened.
Yeah, I mean
That's so impressive though. I didn't realize that you started so late.
Yeah,
I actually did.
yeah.
I didn't know. So like literally when I met you for the first time January of last year, that was like one of your first national races. That is actually crazy.
Yeah.
What do you think? Why do you think you've like adapted so fast?
It's just like I think what helped me was like doing tons of testing at like Homestead, and like at the time like I was very into a go kart, and I was just like doing K races like nonstop. I think I just learned so much from the national races, and like seeing what other people are doing and like stuff like that, and I was at the time with a good team, Speed Concepts, which helped me.
Yeah, I mean, year one to year two, like not just did you improve a lot, but it also felt like racecraft wise and kind of being up there, like you got a chance to be in some intense racing. Like, I guess how different was the experience this year being able to run all the way at the front compared to last year, where it seemed like, I mean, you got better and better throughout the year, but you never really kind of eclipsed that. Like, kind of walk me through kind of the differences you faced this year.
I think it was just like compared to last year. I think it was more like last year I didn't have a lot of experience at the time, and like at the time I looked at the like front guys, and I was like, oh my god, like I was like scared of them. I was like I don't think I could ever be up there. And then this year I got a lot more confidence. Like when we did Scooter Winter Series, like I was getting a lot of confidence from like being up front with those guys. I'm like, oh my god, you can do it. It's just getting in your brain and doing it.
Yeah, and that first win that you had at Newcastle, King of the Castle, I mean, how special was that to be able to win, and not just win, but win in pretty convincing fashion over the course of the weekend?
It was pretty good. That was the first weekend I was on the TM because of round one I was on Vortex, and then round two I was on the TM. It was good. We had the go kart rolling all week, and then everything came together. We won the pre-final on track, but sadly I got DQ because what happened that race was when I passed Antonito in the last corner, I hit him a little bit, and the axle went in. So then it made the rear too narrow. So, but then we went from last to first, which I was very happy about. And
And you passed for the lead on the last lap too. I remember that.
Yeah.
With like 3 corners to
We'll go back to the question. Yeah, I felt like I was very happy and like stuff like that.
Well, both of you guys actually had your first wins this year. Ty, talk to me about your first win. Firstly, here, how special was it? I guess to finally get your first, and it was at Trackhouse. I know that for sure. I can't remember if it was Night Fight or Miami Grands.
Miami Grands.
It was Miami Grands.
Yeah. Well, I actually a few weeks before I got my win in Canada, my first like I don't know if it was like a national race. It was like the Canadian Open to win the ticket to Worlds, but I mean I finished second, but got a penalty, so I didn't really count it as a win. But yeah, I mean Miami Grands that weekend we were flying all week. We won the shootout in KA, which was like started off pretty good for us, and it was in the wet, so that's just adds on top of it because the wet's like kind of the equalizer with racing. And then like the pre-finals and stuff, it was like changing direction and changing the layout of the track, which I thought was pretty cool what they do. And then in the final, it was just the first like probably 10 laps. I was just following Chase and Enzo, and I like was slowing down, just trying to save my tires for the last few laps so I could fight. And I mean, it kind of worked out in my favor. I kind of stayed in the lead pack. I know Chase and Enzo, like something happened to them and they like were able to drop it. So I was like the only person in the top three that was able to keep it up there. And then the last like 5 laps, it was just a dogfight for the win. But it felt really good once we got it. Like the team, it was kind of just like a sigh of relief because we've been working so hard for like it's probably coming up on a year now that we've been trying to get a win, and it finally happened, which was nice.
Yeah, and this year you had kind of the opportunity to race, and I wouldn't want to say like a small operation, but certainly it was a lot more kind of one-on-one coaching that you had with Martin Pierce. And how special was that to be able to work with him throughout the year, throughout the last, I guess, 12 months or so, and see kind of the development that you've had as well as kind of what we've seen with Travis as well as your sister over the course of the year?
Yeah, I mean, working with him is a lot different than working with any other coach. He's talks a lot simpler and easier to understand, which is nice. And he also can help make changes with the setup and the chassis. When he watches the video, he just knows like what I'm saying and then what he sees on the video. And he tells Damon what to do, and they make the setup perfect every time. And as you saw with Travis, he wasn't doing too good at the beginning of the year, but once he switched to TV, his second race he got a podium at the night fight, or not the night fight, the or was it the King of the Castle for stars, and then I think a round later he got the his first win at
It
the
was
night.
it was night fight, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So it's definitely helped him a lot, and it's helped me a lot as well. He's definitely the best coach I've had, and it's been awesome working with him.
Yeah,
All right,
interesting.
I want to hear. I want to get into it. I want to hear from both of you guys because I think it is an objective statement to say that this year, compared to most years that I've seen, the junior driving standards have gotten a little bit out of hand, I'd say. In previous years, it's a little bit chaotic because you come from mini into junior, you got this big chassis, you start feeling really confident, you start throwing it around a little bit. But this year, I think especially in the KA, because X30 there was not as many entries, but in the KA class, sometimes it was really cool. Like Cincinnati was maybe it wasn't a great product, but you guys kept it clean. But on most occasions, something tends to go wrong. Ty, I'll start with you. First of all, what's it been like this year in the junior class, and how chaotic has it been from your
I
perspective?
mean, yeah, the first few like races in Florida, I feel like it was somewhat like tame, like it was like kind of good, like respectful driving, like everyone was kind of driving like respectful-ish, but then it started to get out of hand like as soon as we started going to other places like GoPro Cincinnati for USPKS, that was a crazy race. But like surprisingly, everyone was able to keep it on track that race. But that was probably the craziest race I've ever been in, and everything is kind of gotten pretty out of hand, I say, in the past year, because everyone's just like if they get second, like they're mad, like they don't care. Like nobody in the top 10 is going for second, they're only going for the win. If anyone like finishes outside of like even the podium, like they're not going to be happy, and like the next week they're like, okay, if I'm not winning this week, I'm crashing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
What do you
it's an
think
interesting.
causes that?
Yeah, exactly. What do you think causes that, Ty?
Probably just how competitive it's got, because you've had like Ardiles, Brown, Vidmontian, me, Chase, like everyone, like it's really competitive this year, and they want to beat everyone else, and they're willing to do anything to win. So if it means crashing, it means crashing, and they'll do it for the win.
All right, Chase. So now your turn. Talk about, I guess, the driving standards this year. And we heard Ty said because of the competitiveness in the class. What do you think on why the driving standards have been the way they have been this year?
I think because that I think the driver center are like this because like people the fields are super close, and like people don't like rather want to block, and then hopefully people battle for second, like there's a crash or somebody hits them and lose a lot of time, and the lead gets away. I think that's another reason why people do it, but I don't really agree with it. And my from me driving, I hate when this happens. Like for example, like Cincinnati this year. You just can't move. It's either you're gonna follow everybody, or you're gonna try to go around the outside, get driven off, or you're gonna get a pushback bumper because somebody's gonna just woo and just kill you.
Proceeding here. Xander mentioned something about like the rule of three. If three people go to the bottom side, then you can try to go to the top. Why didn't some of you guys try to, I guess, make moves around the outside, or why was it so difficult to, I guess, try and make moves around the outside? Ty, we'll start with you.
I mean, I was able to make a few decent moves around the outside. At Supermass, I made a pretty good one in the heat. I mean, I think it's possible to go around the outside if depending on like the track and the corner and stuff, and how many people there are in front of you. But you can definitely go around the outside if you have the run, I guess. And if you gotta have like confidence if you want to do it, because if you don't, you're gonna fall back a lot. It's like a really big risk reward kind of
Mm-hmm.
kind of choice. Yeah.
right.
I'd argue it's just hard to trust the guy behind you as well.
Yeah. I mean, I am Grand's next 30. I was about to go around for a move around the outside, but there was a Florida driver, Chase Gassiot-Lee. I mean, I was in the perfect spot to win the race, but I mean, I don't really remember him anyways, so it doesn't really matter.
All right, Chase, your turn here now. I
Ouch.
guess. Do
Wait,
you
no,
recall
first of
the?
all, Chase, yeah, do you
Yeah.
remember that race?
I remember that race. I remember when I actually got destroyed. Yeah.
So you don't
I
remember. So Ty's
I
saying
remember.
that
I
you had
remember.
a chance at winning.
Okay. At the time, I didn't even know I even killed Ty until I watched the stream afterwards. I'm like, oh shoot, I killed Ty. Oh no. I'm like, oh damn. Oopsies. Guys,
Yeah.
Lee, I'm like, I'm thinking, I did it 4 laps straight. Lee, I ran inside bowl, did it, almost did it to end zone. And then I did it before on Roberts, or I remember somebody. I did it almost like 4 laps straight.
Mm-hmm.
And I think me and Ty, yeah, I think Caleb said in the stream, we had the same idea. And then I think Ty hooked bumpers, or he like went all the way right to avoid me.
I
Like,
do remember this. I do remember this now. It was
and
like
then
I don't know if it was Ty or you. I think it was you ahead of Ty, and both of you guys.
Yeah.
It was like white lining going on or whatever, and then Ty or Chase moves to the outside to try and move around the outside, and at the same time, Chase tries to go, and you guys. It's like from bumper to rear bumper, and you guys just like washed out completely
Yeah.
wide. So I've
And
seen
then
that.
yeah. Chase
Chase.
was still able to finish second, so.
I
Wow.
finished third.
Oh, third. My bad.
All right,
'Cause
Chase. To answer the first part of the question, I guess why don't you guys? I guess try. Well, I guess you guys did answer it.
Well, wait, Cincinnati. I'll explain Cincinnati.
Yeah,
why.
Cincinnati.
Okay, because Cincinnati, why not a lot of people do it around the outside? I think is because the track was so dirty. That track that weekend,
Yeah.
you go like a foot off line,
Because the
no
marbles.
grip for like a next lap. But just
Yeah.
no grip. I love the new MGs, but oh my god, it was bad there, especially with road tax there. A star, it's like every
Scusa.
seat you can name of, like was
Yeah.
there. Track was, and then the rhino patches in the last section did not help either. I don't think either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point. That was like one of the points that we were talking about on the broadcast of. For one, I don't think I've ever seen visibly that many marbles on a racetrack in karting in quite some time. So at MCC, it was pretty prominent, but it was interesting. So you say the offline on the outside was pretty dirty. Usually on the inside, it's also pretty dirty. Did you guys feel it at Cincinnati, or because everybody was white lining, did you guys kind of develop a second groove going on in the bottom? Ty, I'll start with you.
Okay. Yeah. Like at first, like the first like few laps after we started white lining, like it was really slippery and like inconsistent. Like everyone, like one person would like lock up the brakes and go flying into another person, and it was kind of crazy. But after like probably 10 laps of white lining, there was like all the rubber was cleared up and they were starting to like build grip again because there were 30 people every lap just driving on the inside. And in that race, I forget who it was. I think it was Peyton Westcott. She crashed like with 10 laps to go and was like a few seconds, like probably 15 seconds behind. And she was able to catch up to the lead pack, which is just
Yeah.
shows how much we were waiting on
Her and Travis, I think Travis got an
did it
incident
too.
at the start.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just that was probably the craziest race all year. That was probably the race of the year.
Yeah, actually, probably Chase.
Race of the year? No.
Well, where did you end up finishing in that race?
I had an engine issue that race, so
No, it's bias.
no, not biased at all. You know what I'm saying?
To be fair, I think Xander would agree with him on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually agree with Chase. I don't know if that's like.
I don't like that. I think the best race of the year was Grand. I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
pretty
Grand X30.
Chase, where did you finish in Grands?
Third.
Yeah, see.
Best race of the year. Okay.
No, okay.
King of the Castle.
King of the
Castle.
Castle.
No. That race was boring. I'll admit that. Nobody was doing anything because the first lap I got the fourth, and then the rest of the race was kind of boring. It was just me trying to catch Antonino.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
still-
Well,
that's still a
we're
good
talking
race,
about
though.
we're talking about Cincinnati though. So, I forgot the question Alex asked. I'm not gonna lie, but answer.
Well,
it.
no, it's just Ty made a good point of the outside being super dirty, and
Yeah.
it was. But
Mhm.
normally, then the inside is also really dirty.
Oh yeah. If we made a second group, I think like halfway through the race, yeah. But at the beginning, it was still no grip. But at like midway through to the end, it was basically like another racing line.
Yeah.
How stacked up are you guys getting? Like, if you were.
I was P15, and it was pretty bad, yeah.
Yeah, because Ty, you were what P2 the whole time, basically, right?
I was actually falling back between. I was kind of like from 5th to 10th most of the race. I fell back to like 15th at one point, but I never was really inside the top 3 until the last 2 laps.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the difference between like being in that front group versus that mid pack group in terms of how stacked up you guys got?
Honestly, just like when you're in the mid pack, you could like super easily make a mistake and fall way farther back. Because if you try to go for a move around the outside and you didn't make it, you'd fall back another 5 spots, which was not good at all. There were a few times where I was running like in the like 7th-ish group, and I fell back to 15th within 2 corners just from being stuck on the outside.
Do you guys like as juniors talk to each other before or after the race and say like, listen, let's try not to let this happen again?
I mean, sometimes you'll ask somebody to like work with you, but you can't
Nobody does
trust
it?
anyone in junior.
No one does it.
Nobody.
So, like, seniors, I wouldn't say like. I would say I'm getting there, Chase. I'm getting there, but I would say like the shifter drivers have this like unspoken code, of like, all right,
You don't bump me, I don't bump you. Yeah.
X30, it's like a little bit of the same thing. I know KA is probably like, all right, like let's just kind of get on with it. Emery can attest probably to that, or I don't know if you guys talk, but like in junior, whenever you're having races like that, like who would be someone in the class to like step up and be like, hey, like let's just like, or I guess in between the front runners, like let's just try not to white line.
Nobody. The joke, actually, I mean, we do talk in between races, but like it's just joking, like, hey, next race don't white line for the whole race, but like it never goes to tuition.
Yeah.
You see, that's where the problem is, fellas. You gotta like, that's like.
I try to take it serious. Like they don't listen. They don't listen.
It's
Yeah.
a zero. It's a
Like-
zero-sum game, though.
Yeah,
Like,
I guess so.
No matter
Yeah.
no matter what you do, ultimately with the way that the races are formulated, if you're someone that does not have the pace to just straight up pull away, which basically no one will ever have in KA, then the optimal strategy if you're leading the race is white line. Make sure no one gets past you.
Yeah.
And conversely, if you're in second or third and it's a big pack race, the main like optimal strategy is almost never going to be to actually just push away with the leader, because there's 4 or 5 other people that can do the same thing. That's like it takes a coordinated effort with the way that package is in most of the tracks we go to. Like outside of, say, Dowsman, I think, is one that ended up being pretty spread out, and I think Speed Sports is pretty good for it too, where you can get a more spaced out race. Well, I know you guys had a different one, but that was because we were still white lining from the get go. But in general, like, I think it's more so that the class and the package and the tracks we go to all make it to where it's just an issue. Granted, this year was, I'd say, 3 steps too far in the white lining in junior, but I think again, like, it's just people realizing, like, it's a good strategy.
The strategy
objectively.
works, and that's actually that's the issue. There's
It
no
works.
way to
It works a little too well, unless we get rid of pushback bumpers or allow a little bit of bump and runs.
All right, spoiler alert, it's not going to work in senior. I've seen it happen like 2-3 times this year where the guy in the lead just gets moved out of the way.
If you want a race to watch, go watch USPKS Dowsman.
That's Emery's favorite race of the year.
All right. No, it's just crazy.
All right, you guys are going to be moving up to senior next year. We're going to talk all about that and some of y'all's little adventures in cars as well. But we're going to take a quick commercial break first, and when we come back, we'll talk all about it. Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to IndyCar and NASCAR, with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or Facebook today.
Brandon, why are there all these charges for just over $200?
I'm tired of all this branding business, okay? Branding this, branding that. Why are there all these expenses on AKR over $200? We know, okay? Take a walk with me. At Shop AKR, they have everything you need to start racing at a very cheap and affordable price. They have MXC rims, they got chains, electrical stands, tilt seats. They got MXCs, and if you didn't know, on top of that, any purchase in the continental U.S. over $200, that's free shipping. Hey, aren't you supposed to be in the AKR Anonymous meeting over there? Dude, I'm doing a commercial. Dude, we have no time. It's about to start. Stop. We all love Shop AKR. Me? More than others. What do I get at Shop AKR? MXC rims.
DPK Americas is bridging the gap between the U.S. and the 2-time world champion DPK Alonso Kart factory team in Europe.
In partnership with Team Binnick, they offer drivers a complete career path from the Americas to Europe that allows them to continue their driver development on both sides of the world, all underneath the DPK umbrella.
For more information, contact DPK Americas at max@drivensm.com to take the next step in your driver development journey today. Alrighty.
What are we
Nice
doing?
doing, Ty. That was Cars. That was definitely Cars. It was that's Cars 2, actually. That's Cars 2 in the last scene, Ty. Bang.
I didn't know that.
Bang. All right. With that being said, welcome back to KC Grid Talk, episode number 36 with Ty Fisher and Chase Gassiot-Lee and your 3 favorite co-hosts, as always. We talked about, I guess, driving standards within junior categories, but like we said earlier, you boys are going to be moving up to senior here soon. So I guess, how excited are you guys for it, and what are you guys kind of looking forward to it? And like we have been doing all show, Ty, we're going to start with you.
I mean, I'm really excited to go to Cars. I think it's going to be really fun. I'm excited to do a few races. I feel like it's going to be a lot more like respectful but chaotic at the same time. Cause like it's
No white lining.
even in it, yeah. Because there's like
That's
no
why.
white lining. Well, there's not really like white lining, but in Cars, like when you defend, like you cannot get by the other person. If they're defending, you cannot get by them, which I mean, it can be good, but it can also be bad. It makes for like great racing. Like even watching some of the races of the series I'm doing next year, like it looks like so fun, and I just want to be out there so bad. I think it's gonna be definitely a learning curve for me. Just learning how to like handle the situations a little bit
Mhm.
differently than in karting. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm really excited for it.
How's the pace
So
looking? Are
yeah.
we quick?
I mean, yeah, so far in all the tests, I've been in the top three at some point. So, um,
Hey,
no, should be good this year or next year, I guess.
what is kind of like the transition of racing, a go-kart to racing an actual car on and like actually going wheel to wheel in that and kind of, if you make contact there, it's you're either up in the air or you're, it's a lot more consequential in damage.
Yeah, like in karting, you're throwing it in sideways, like sending it on people, smashing into people, and you can do that in karting, and it works sometimes. But in cars, you can't do any of that. You can't hit anyone or like try to take anyone out, or like your car is going to be destroyed. You won't be able to finish the race, and it's a lot more expensive instead of paying like if you destroy the cart in karting, it's max like $2,000. In a car, it could be like a lot more, like up to $100,000 if you completely destroy it, which is insane. So everyone's like going to be driving like more
You care more.
smarter. Yeah, like you care more smarter, and it's also like a lot more dangerous in cars because you're going like double, triple the speed, and it's still open wheel. So I think it should be better, cleaner racing. I feel like it's going to be what racing should be, like seeing who's the best and clean. And in karting, it's like whoever's the craziest sometimes. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
Did I was I the first one to see you out of the car chaser crew in a car when it was at VIR?
Probably.
Yeah, yeah. When I did that, that was my
The
first time ever in a car, actually,
yeah,
at
Skip
the
Barber.
Skip
Yeah.
Barber. Yeah, yeah, that was fun. I'd say yeah, that was fun. Just like driving all the different like cars and doing the school, it was fun. It definitely helped with like just understanding cars a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. 'Cause the cars are
Yeah.
very similar to what you do at juniors.
Yeah, I mean it's an F4 car compared to like a USF Junior, so it's like is very similar.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
All right,
Chase.
get off your phone, bro.
Yeah, Chase, your
What
turn, man.
phone, bro? My phone's right here.
Okay.
End the phone call later. Okay.
If it's your mom, you can answer, or your dad.
We can say hi.
This is my school friend.
Oh, nah,
Ah,
we don't have time for that.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see the
um,
podcast later.
yeah. All right, your turn here, Chase. I guess talk about the transition that you kind of had on, I guess, kart racing to kind of car racing. I know you've done a couple races as well, and you have some under your belt, and I think some unannounced stuff as well that we're not talking about. But proceed.
Um, it like comparing a go kart to a car is like you think it's like a lot bigger of a difference than it really is. Like you're comparing a car that has what for say 200 horsepower compared to a go kart with 2015. It's like a lot, but when you get in it, it's really like similar, but and it kind of works the same, but it just you have to figure out the weight distribution and like understand the braking and like having front brakes because juniors we don't have front brakes. We only have
Mm,
rear brakes, so it's a lot different. And everything's just a lot bigger, but everything is faster, but everything comes a lot slower too, in my opinion.
okay, that's interesting. Something that I don't think I expected to hear out of
it's
that.
it's it's the truth though. I remember like my first time in a car, I was like unimpressed by the speed, right? Like obviously I didn't drive an F1 car, so it's not the same, but usually like when you're getting to your first car, it's a slower open wheel or it's a Miata style car, and so the karting feels faster oftentimes, especially when you get to the senior ranks and especially in like shifter. That's why most people like Danny and Billy, those guys are super like they're advocates for a shifter, and that's why I'm big on what Billy Musgrave's doing with the mini shifters because I think
Yeah.
that is the most comparable thing to a car because it's going to feel as fast, if not faster than a car. Most of the time, the karts that you drive, I mean, even the minis, honestly, are fast enough to where you get in a go kart or you get into a USF Juniors and it's doesn't bother you speed wise. I think
Yeah.
the biggest thing that you kind of both mentioned was the weight distribution is going to be different. It's a bigger car. So Ty, I'll kind of start with you. Do you feel like that's been the biggest learning curve? Was more of just handling a much bigger piece of machinery?
You're muted, Ty.
You're muted, bud.
In my opinion, the weight distribution is like the most important thing with cars, like by far. Because if you're doing a corner and you don't get the weight distribution right, you could like have so much understeer, or you could be like sliding through it, and you could be rolling like 10 miles an hour less, which is like probably the biggest difference between karting. Like if you like weight distribution in karting, there's like nothing, like there's not much at all. And but with like shifters, as you said, I've driven a shifter once in Canada, and it was like it feels like the fastest thing I've driven so far. Because like Chase said, the cars, they're way faster, but they don't feel faster. Like it almost compares to driving a mini. Like the USF juniors, they're not like they're underpowered for how much
much
grip
aero?
they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, for like the grip and aero. So you don't get up to like crazy high speeds, or at least it doesn't feel like it. And with how big the tracks are, it's like you're driving slow on a huge track.
Yeah.
Chase,
Yeah.
you feel the same way?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm gonna use an example here as it was my first time in a USF Juniors car, and then the next day I was driving a go kart at Homestead. And I was like, oh my god! Like when I was driving the go kart, everything comes out a lot quicker. I was like, oh my god! And I was like turning the corners early. I think it was a practice day. It wasn't a race day, but you know what I'm saying.
Hey, Chase has also been notoriously known for having issues as well in go-karts. I know he had an issue. I remember your mom telling me this, actually. You found out you needed to wear glasses at a night race. It was night fight. You went out there, wore your tinted visor, and then realized you had I forgot what it was called, but I
That
said it like 3
perception
times.
issues.
Depth perception. So you were turning into the corners like 10 feet way too early.
So for definition, for people who don't know, depth perception is like you can't tell between 10 and like 10 and like 20 feet, for example. I can't tell 20 and 10 feet, but there's no night racing, thankfully. And I think at Vegas, I think I fixed it. I was like, I followed Ty around in quali, and then I was fast until Ty just decided to absolutely destroy my quali session by just passing in the left-hander in the last sector. I was second up. Nope, Ty finishes to ruin my lap, and I get P40.
Ty, is this true?
You see, the thing is, that lap was going to be a bad lap for me, and I still wanted to be in a decent position. So I may or may not have slowed like 40 people down behind me.
Okay, now I know what you guys are
Oh
talking
yeah.
about.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Wait, actually, I
Yeah.
have a bone to pick with you guys. What was that
Okay.
qualifying session?
Ty Fisher. Oh,
So
sorry.
I mean,
Hey.
Whoa.
come on, Chase, that's mean.
All right, I want to
All
hear
right,
from Ty
Chase on
first because
timeout.
that was like Monza-esque qualifying. You guys just didn't
Yeah.
go for 4 laps.
Yeah, because I'm not going out. I was first in happy hour, and my coach showed me if you go out first, you're getting slapped when you come back in. Because you're not going to be fast, and there's no chance you're going to be in the top 5. So I was like, okay, I'll let people go in front of me. And I just pulled over, slowed down. Nobody wanted to go in front of me. And it was like, okay, if somebody doesn't want to go in front of you, just keep going slow for a lap because you're going to get like 4 minutes, I think it was. So just keep going slow and make sure you at least get one good lap in. And I knew I had to get somebody in front of me, so I started going fast to get everyone going. Then coming on the exit of turn 1, I like stopped and I pulled over to the side and watched everyone just fly by me, which was kind of a sign of relief. And then I started going, and then everyone in front of me slowed down. And I got to the point where like I think there were probably like 15 like good drivers that should have been in the top 20 or top 15. They qualified like 40th.
So why
Which-
didn't any of you guys think to just say, okay, why not? I'm gonna be the one to just go because like
watching
I know-
Chase's reaction to Ty's, I guess, logic behind it was like the funniest thing these past 5 minutes. Okay, Chase, Ty gave you the answer. You should have just passed him, dude.
Yeah,
Dude,
Chase.
first of all, I
Just
didn't
go
even
do
get to
your
my
own
point
thing.
yet. Okay, let me explain it. I don't want to talk about my happy hour because I slapped the wall and bent my axle. Okay, so I got like 30th in happy hour. Okay, so everybody slow down. I see Ty pull. I see everybody here. I'm like, okay. My thought process was, okay, I have HG at night. Okay, so my game plan was to pass everybody, which I did. I led everybody. Everybody followed me, so you can't even blame me. First of all, A. So
Nobody's blaming you.
on the same time, Ty was saying some stuff, and then I went. Everybody followed me. I lit by Vanchev. Then I followed him. Then Ty and Garzone passed me, whatever. And then I had a perfect drive, like perfect, off of Vanchev. He qualified P2. No, Ty Fisher absolutely decides to slow down last sector, last lap. Second up, 2 tenths up on my teammate Charlie, and he qualified 5th. You know what
Okay.
I'm
Have
gonna
you
qualify?
guys?
I wanted
Have you
half
guys?
a tenth off of Chico. Thanks, Ty.
Hold
Okay.
on. All right. Enough of the arguing. But have you guys seen that meme where it's like the guy who's playing F1 and he's like, "Oh, like top 3, easy top 3, cross the
Yeah.
line, 16."
Yeah.
That was probably Chase there.
Wait, but
Yeah.
I want to ask, like, why didn't either of you guys just decide to just get away from the pack and just go by yourself? Because like you had to know what lap you were on.
You heard Ty's reasoning, or I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Ty.
I mean,
Well, Ty
I
just
have something
Ty pulled
to
off and
add to
slowed down. He
Chase's
said.
point. Yeah.
I went. I was the one who went.
All right, let's keep it civil.
Yeah.
Let's keep it civil. You guys
I'm
are free
civil
to.
here.
Yeah, we're civil. We're civil.
All right, Ty, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
It was just like about Chase's point for slowing down the last lap. I was up, I think, because I caught up to Vanchev at the start of the lap. I was probably like 5 cars behind him, and I caught up to him. I was right on his bumper, but going through one of the corners, I got hit from behind, and I got sideways. So like, okay, then I slowed down. I'm back to the same point as Vanchev at the start of the lap, and I started catching back up. Then I got hit again. I was like, okay, this lap is gonna be slow. I'm slowing everyone down behind me. So that was just my thought process, and it worked for me.
So what
I'm
we're
saying
hearing is
that's
that should be
a impeding
retroactively
Fisher,
impeding.
so I think that should be a 10 penalty on his
That's
final
so
position.
bad.
So,
5-spot grid penalty at Homestead.
I
Some of
agree.
the
Oh,
logic.
hey, Orlando,
Some of the
Orlando.
logic. Stop. Hold on. 5 seconds. Pause. Everybody pause. Some of the logic you guys use is just crazy to me. But it makes so much sense.
It's why
But
the
it
white
makes
lining
so much
happens. Though.
sense. Yeah, it
No,
makes so much
it all.
sense.
I mean,
Like,
I don't blame
yeah.
Ty.
I've done the
Yeah,
same.
I mean, I don't like. I honestly, from a racing driver perspective, and I think we
I've seen
all
a lot
can
of
agree
drivers
here.
do it.
I get
I've
it.
done the same
Like,
thing.
I
Yeah.
get it.
Exact same thing.
I think
Yeah,
Chase
I
is
would
just
never
like
do
the
that.
unlucky driver. Yeah, Chase is just the unlucky driver.
And then,
that-
actually mentioning Ty, I just remembered KA quality. This guy passes me, right? I'm not. I think.
Chase is just ranting at this point, using Casey Grid
Yo.
Talk as a rant session.
Yeah.
This is factual information. You can go back in the live stream.
This is like built up. This is built
This
up.
is-
Yeah, I actually have all this in Ty.
I feel like this is
Casey
a
Rage Room.
session now.
Oh boy.
I had all this
Rage
scripted, ready for Ty. Okay. Actually, in KA quality, this guy passes me, and then he goes into, I think three or four, whatever, the second actual corner on the track. He tried to pass 2 people in corner and half spins in the
That
last
wasn't
time of
me.
qualifying.
Was that me? I don't think that was
Let me
me.
pull this up real quick, actually.
That might have been
Bang.
me. That might have been me. I don't know.
Yo,
I don't
Chase
remember
looking
that.
for the
though.
receipts.
All right,
Yeah, I
look,
need my
look,
receipts.
Look, we've all had moments. I flipped myself earlier this year.
That's
Emery,
different.
I don't know.
Alright,
We've all had
that's
we've
a
all
skill
had
issue.
moments.
That's
all right,
Caleb. That's a skill issue. It's different.
all right. Anyways, I'm trying to justify myself here. Well, we've all had moments this year. Now to close this off.
I want to ask one more thing here before we get to what you're gonna talk about, Caleb.
Okay.
Just what was like while Chase also pulls up the receipts apparently, what was that qualifying like? Because like it was like going into night, and I know the senior guys were slipping aside like crazy. Was it like that for you guys too?
It honestly,
God, this kid.
it got it got a little bit slower, but it got a little bit slower, but it wasn't bad. Like the first group, honestly, probably had like a 3/4 advantage compared to
Yeah.
us, but we still had like enough grip where we could have gone faster than them if like we weren't so dumb, I guess you could say. If Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Chase. All right, what do you have, Chase? What do you have for us?
Wait.
You can't upload anything in here.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can.
Okay, so we're
I can
gonna
hit the
we're
share
gonna
button. Wait.
all right, we're gonna get ready to close this one up. All right. So last two things. How did this kid just?
Did he actually?
Yeah. Okay.
Wait.
I guess we can allow it. I guess we can
Yeah.
allow it.
Let's
All
see
right.
it. Let's see
All right.
it.
Let's see it. All right, Chase, stop messing with it. I got it.
New producer.
Oh boy.
Hit play.
Oh,
What is this?
this point. Yeah.
Smart positioning.
There it is, 52-5, Ty Fisher. Another 52-5, Sebastian Garzone.
I didn't see anything.
Blank sport, Diego Ardila.
That's not a half spin.
Smart.
I mean, I kind of did.
He checked up.
Ty Fisher.
No, because I hit the guy in front. I hit the guy in front. So yeah. Yeah. Now that I see it, I remember that.
I don't count it. You're good.
Yeah. Yeah. I only meant to pass one guy, but I didn't realize how early they were gonna break. So.
At the end of every show, we give our guests some time to, I guess, promote themselves, say what they've got going on. Ty, I know you got a busy year ahead of you, so the floor is yours, man. Where can people find you on social media? And what do you got going on in the next coming, I guess, months?
Yeah, so my social media, I got Instagram. My Instagram is Ty Fisher _racing 37. And I'm testing in Homestead and USF Juniors this week. Other than that, this month, I'm just gonna go on my winter break for a little bit, have some fun, go skiing. But for my racing, next year I'm doing full season in USF Juniors. So that's gonna be my main priority. And I'm gonna do a little bit of karting in senior KA and X30, maybe even a little bit of shifter. Yeah, that's it for me.
Alrighty, Chase.
Next year I'm going to be doing I'll be doing Shoot the Winter Series and X30 Pro. I'm not sure anything else. I mean, next year's a lot like unconfirmed, and I actually can't announce a lot of it, so can't say a lot. But we have stuff planned next year.
Alrighty, well, big time Chase Gassiot-Lee can't I guess.
I actually tried to make the announcement, but I had something in my ear saying no, I can't announce. So
Okay, well, it's all good.
Not
good.
not announceable yet.
All right. Well, sounds good. Looks like you have some exciting stuff to come on. Firstly, boys, thank you guys very much for coming on. We appreciate it. Had a good time, had some laughs. So that being said, hey, round of applause for Ty Fisher and Chase Gassiot-Lee. Both of them had breakout years this year, and I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot more of them in the coming future. So thank you very much, boys, for coming on.
Thank you, Caleb and Alex and Emery. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure doing this. Hopefully we can do it again, and I'll be SCUSA champion.
All right, there you have
it.
Call the shot.
Call the shot. Well, we appreciate it, boys. We'll see you guys very soon.
Thank you, guys. Huh?
What about you? Are you gonna SCUSA champ, bro?
Nah, bro. I'm not that. I'm not Ty Fisher good, you know.
Wow.
Well, you guys have been a lot of fun, but again, we appreciate having you guys on.
Thank you, guys.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wait, Caleb, how's your fantasy team going?
My fantasy team. So
we had this good discussion like a few weeks ago, and then we haven't talked about this.
Yeah. So my fantasy team actually finished second to last.
Avoided
I wasn't
punishment.
last.
Avoided punishment.
Avoided punishment, but that's exactly what I was aiming for at the start of the season. I think I learned going into next year. You don't draft Isaiah Pacheco first round. But yeah, that's pretty much.
He drafted a kicker like round 5.
All right.
Yeah,
Anyways,
what are you doing?
we're gonna wrap this.
My team is 10-3, guys. So.
All right. See you, fellas.
We in the playoffs.
See ya. Thanks for having me.
Yep.
See
All
you
right.
guys.
So that being said, this was KC Grid Talk episode number 36. We thank you guys very much for joining, and we'll see you soon.